So that first part, okay, of the live video is gonna be part one. Okay, because I am not gonna scrap that. I shared way too much. So that's gonna be part one. I still have a lot more to talk about. So I'm gonna keep going with this live video. Hi, Khadijah. Hi there. Yes, we can hear and see you. Okay, thank you so much for being here, Khadijah. So I believe the last thing that I was talking about was really just letting you know the context of what I'm talking about when I bring up how women undermine other women, how women undermining you can show up, how women undermining me has shown up, what it's done to my confidence, what it's done to my spirit as it relates to actually receiving my desires in life and feeling like I can have them and feeling like I can shine and glow and receive regardless of what anybody thinks, what anybody says to me, how anybody shows up, especially women who are in authoritative positions, or maybe these women, a lot of these women were older than me, some of these women were peers, but they would do these subtle things like talking over me, laughing at me when when I'm sharing something that means something to me. Um, let's see. The bullying type of energy. Khadijah S says, "You're welcome. This topic is really hitting home for me. Thanks. I am more than sure that it hits home for a lot of us." For a lot of us. And that is why I was like, I must do a video on this and talk about this, because in my glamour magic video, the Queen of Wands energy came up of like, okay, if you want to enchant and magnetize, you got to be in your Queen of Wands energy. But like, there's a lot of energy. I know there's been a lot of energy, emotions, trauma here for me. I can only imagine what it's like for, other women who are in my community, in this audience, having these experiences, but not really being able to pinpoint it, clarify it, call it out for what it is, and then transmute it into what it's meant to be. Um, so so yeah, I got the context of the situation down for the most part. And now I want to get into I also got into a bit of what it feels like when women undermine you. Okay. Um I've got into how it shows up in friendships, okay, how it can show up in family dynamics with like relationships with our mothers. It could also be relationships with women figures, okay? Um I've had a lot of experiences in my 20s, in my early 20s, when I was wanting better for myself in my love life, even in my career, okay, in my love life and in my career. I think where the video stopped off at, and Khadijah, if you can remember, you can remind me or let me know, was it stopped off at um women that I wanted to collaborate with in my business. And those women that I reached out to, okay, I reached out to a handful of women. I want to say one, two, three. These are the women, four. Okay. I want to say at least four women I reached out to. And actually, they said yes. Yes, because my coach advised me to. Yes. So I reached out to these women. And I feel like I reached out to more women than that, but these were the women that responded to me. They were all Black women. They were all influencers in either on YouTube or Instagram. Some of them are very well known, okay, and they were like, "Yeah, like let's do something," okay, and so they were all in. But this is where the issue, actually, I wouldn't say this was where the issue came in for every single one of them, but I was very clear about what my intentions were for collaborating, which was, um, selling my course, promoting my offering, and creating something with other women that could, expand the both of us, right? And what we both wanna do. And the issue or intimidation came in whenever I would share for one woman specifically, okay? When I shared how much I was charging for my offerings, that completely shifted the relationship dynamic between me and her because she was selling things for like $50, $100, $20, $100, like, it was low ticket, and there's nothing wrong with low ticket, you know what I'm saying? But that's what she was doing. She was doing low ticket and she was selling a bunch of low ticket stuff. I was in the high ticket space. I was in the intimate coaching, let's do something one-on-one, and my programs were in the thousands, right? That's what I was charging for what I wanted to do, and that's what my business coach was helping me to achieve. That's what I wanted. So, when she found out that I was charging this amount for my offerings, the relationship dynamic completely changed, and she decided that it was in her best interest to tell me that um nobody's going to want to pay me that. um Black people don't have any money. Why would you charge black people that much money? You're stealing money from black people. Okay. um she also went on to tell me that, or I would say subtly diss me without dissing me, and basically ridiculing me because I was living with my mom at the time. Was literally a single mother, okay, and I was living with my mom. So she was like dissing me because I was still living with my mom. She was saying that I was, um who would want to pay me that? Why is that even worth when I'm charging? What value do you actually get? Like, I mean, she was saying all of these things, but it wasn't direct. It was indirect. Okay. It was indirect. And she was like, the way you're supposed to sell things is you're supposed to sell a bunch of small ticket stuff because people can actually afford that. And I said, listen, the way you do things is just different than the way I do things. I want to offer a transformation to the women that I want to work with. And yes, Black people do have money. And I'm not only marketing to just Black women. I'm marketing to women in general. I'm not in like only Black women must pay me, okay? And I don't believe that Black people are impoverished and dusty and don't have no money. That's not in my belief system. So I'm saying all of this back to her, and I'm like, it's unnecessary for you to be like like saying these things, right? And then the funniest part was after she told me all of that, she started raising her prices. She started raising her prices. She started questioning what she was doing, right? And it's just like you did all of that because of jealousy, right? Because of like, oh, I'm shining too bright for you. So I can't come onto your platform, or we can't do anything together, cuz really what the fear was is that I was going to make her look less than. And so that was an experience that I was like, okay, that was crazy. Okay, that was crazy. Um because she really was like trying to make me feel like I don't like unworthy, right? Like I don't deserve this. I don't deserve that. What are you offering? And then she said something along the lines of, if I pay somebody thousands of dollars for a program, I basically own their soul. And I said, If you feel like you own somebody because you paid few $1,000s, which you say you make 10K a month, okay, in your business, if you pay somebody a thousands of dollars for a program, like, first of all, I don't want your money because you don't own nothing over here. And trust me when I say this woman has an audience. Okay, she's a YouTuber, she has a huge audience. Okay, like, so you you will never know who people really are until you really have like one-on-ones with them. That's why I started changing my perspective of influencers and women online. And you know, when that camera comes on, people put on an act. Okay, and they want to present their best selves, as they should. However, that really opened my eyes to, you know, what's going on here, okay? So that was one experience I had. I had another experience where um another woman, very popular influencer in the black spiritual community. I don't know where these women are now. But I know this was like 2019 this was going on. Um the same type of scenario, except she didn't attack my work. She was attacking my work ethic, right? And like, it was just really weird. So basically, long story short, all of the women that I reached out to, these four women who responded to me, they all started saying weird things like out of nowhere, right? It was like when the time was getting close for us to collaborate and do the thing, the vibe was like weird and they started saying weird things. One of the women was like, "Well, I don't know how I feel about manipulating people into a course or coercing people into it." Mostly it all came down to just the fact that I was doing something that they weren't doing, and it was intimidating for them. And that's what I had to learn after the fact, right? As time went on. Um, Alice Cat says, Shake my head, shake my effing head. I go through this very subtle bullying too." Um, so you absolutely know what I'm talking about then, Alice. Khadijah says, "Sorry to hear that. Some people are still impacted by the poverty mindset. They can't fathom abundance." Exactly. Alice Cat says, "What the F? She was weird." She was weird AF. So yeah, that was an experience that I had in business. I'm not even going to get into I don't even really want to get into the client experience that I had with, I want to say, 3 clients that I've had, okay? All of my other clients have been amazing. 3 clients that I've had that on the same type of time, okay? Except instead of them undermining me from the business collaboration aspect, they were undermining me from a, a student aspect, right? One woman came into my program, completely tried her best, okay, but this is when I started learning boundaries and how to really hold my boundaries and respect when it comes to the women that I come across in the online space and that want to work with me, okay? Because not every not every woman, okay, has the best intentions, right? It feels really good to get that payment notification come in and, oh yeah, somebody's enrolled, right? But when it comes to like one-on-one coaching, I've learned that you have to have boundaries out the gate, okay? Because they will do their best to try to take as much as they can from you when you are working with them. Meaning, whatever it is that you're offering, they're going to do their best to, especially the coaching aspect. Okay, I had one woman came into my program. She had access to one-on-one spot coaching via Voxer. Okay. A lot of my other clients had that same thing. I was hearing from her probably every hour of the day, asking questions about this, asking questions about that, which I found to be okay. I thought that was good. I thought that okay, she's into it. She wants to learn. She wants to, she wants to grow from this. That's what I took it as at first. Unfortunately, what I discovered, okay, after I realized that she would say little things as time passed, like, "Can you hurry up and finish? Hurry up and just tell me what you want to tell me already." Like she would say stuff like that, right? When I'm trying to deliver a message to her or get basically give her an answer to one of her questions. Can you hurry up already and just tell me what the answer is or what I need to know? Okay, I was noticing things like that. And I was like, I don't know where you think we do this at. But I'm not like that same mentality of if I pay you thousands of dollars, I own you. That was what I was realizing. Okay, she thinks that she owns me. She thinks she can control me because she's paying me, okay, to be in my program. She ultimately ended up trying to control when I would come on the group schedule, right? And when we would have our group calls, there was something going on in my personal life to where I had to alter the date of the group meetings. It was still a weekly meeting. That was what was in the contract. Um, she didn't like that I changed the day from Friday to Wednesday. And she was like, I just want to talk about how I just don't feel heard and I don't feel seen because I told you that I can't do that day because it just doesn't work for me because I'm not going to be able to learn everything I need to learn and then come to the group call. And I said, listen, it's perfectly fine. You don't have to cram everything that I'm teaching you and then show up to the group call and like know everything that I'm teaching you in that time frame. Like this is not university. Okay, this isn't how I'm doing things. This is a flow, right? You do as much as you can, learn as much as you can, come to the group call, we move through what is the most important thing for you to move through and then move on from there. Like it's I'm not forcing you to be like cram information and then show up to the group call ready to like she was taking it like, oh, this is university. So I said, so it's fine, don't worry about it. You like that's not an issue. What you're making into an issue isn't actually an issue, right? This is what sometimes what women do, right? About like making problems that they don't have yet. She was making problems that she didn't have. Like she hadn't even experienced the problem of not being able to process all the information when the day came, right? She was just making the problem, okay? Anyway, long story short, um she decided to say I was or insinuate that my I was twisting my integrity and not keeping my promises and um then she started gossiping about me to the other clients and not all of the other clients but only the one that would listen to her. And then she got both of those women to exit the program and basically try to undermine me, right? Just another example, right, of undermining me. And I was so flabbergasted by that experience because I had put so much energy into this woman. Within 1 month, she had gotten so much energy from me. She was my most demanding client. And for her to just be like, "Oh, well, you don't want to do what I want you to do, so I'm gonna default on the contract and basically not pay you anymore. So that was a situation that I had to learn big time, that not every woman who wants to work with me actually genuinely wants to work with me. In fact, one of the women that she gossiped with, I got on a Zoom call with her because she sent me this long, drawn out message about how she feels like I'm a bad person and I'm not a good teacher, and um how she was like super um I would say, like, she was saying that she wasn't learning anything, and I'm like, "You haven't been utilizing, like, any of the thing, like, you haven't been asking me any questions. I don't understand how you not learning nothing because 'cause you're not even asking me questions. The material is there, you come to the group calls, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you don't ask questions, you don't engage. What you do talk to me about is your narcissistic baby daddy, you know what I'm saying? Or like the trauma that you have going on. And so that's also when I just had to learn boundaries, right? Not everyone needs to be in my space as a client, okay? And not all money is like the money that I need to have, okay? Um I only want to work with soulmate clients, soul aligned clients, women who feel like I am like the one, right? Like I am their bestie. I am the one. I am like the perfect person to guide them. Not women, okay? And this is the thing that she ended up saying when we got on a Zoom call, cuz I was like, "Okay, let's get on a call. Let's talk this about this because I'm trying to understand what's going on here." She tells me that the lady was gossiping to her about me and everything like that, and then she goes on to say how um she was like, "Well, I'm doing you a favor by leaving your program because what I could do is I could just use you for everything that you have and, take everything that you teach me and then, um, you know, go off and, basically do what I want with it." And I was like, "This is some evil shit." Like, this is some evil ass shit. I'm like, "Are you crazy?" Like, the women that I literally am pouring my heart into. You know what I'm saying? So, this is all I'm explaining all of this to just really give you a really in-depth understanding of how wicked I have experienced the the nature of women who haven't stepped into their Queen of Wands energy, haven't stepped into their light, haven't stepped into their magnetism, and when they come into contact with you, okay, a woman who is embodying her light, a woman who is on that path to expansion and doing great things, instead of them rising to meet you there, instead of them being inspired and meeting you there, they want to drag you down. They want to sabotage, okay? So especially experiencing that led me to being extremely drained. Okay. I barely had any energy left for the rest of my clients, but I made it through. Okay. We made it through. And the rest of my clients were amazing, supportive. They were like, listen, they gone. Let them be gone. Okay. We love you. Let's keep going. Okay. Sounds like energy vampires. Absolutely. Okay. But th- it's like when you have that big heart, when you have that like love and desire to lead and be an authority as a woman, you have to be aware of that. And that was something that I had to learn, that my light is going to trigger people. My light like in the beginning they might be like, "Oh, okay. Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. That's." And then watch for that energy shift. When you challenge them, that's when that energy shift takes place. When they once they feel threatened by you, that's when that energy shift takes place. And that parasite or whatever that is is like, oh, we have to we have to bring her down. We have to make her feel less than herself. We have to take from her. Okay? So I was drained from all of these experiences that I have highlighted to you. I feel like I pretty much got the gist of it, okay? Of how they played out in my friendships, how they've played out in the workspace with me having jobs, how they've played out in my relationship with my mother, um and clients and um community spaces, being brought onto interviews. This is how I have basically experienced this, and it's drained me, it's caused me to doubt my voice, it's caused me to shrink back, and that is the healing work I had to do around receiving in my money, okay? So, once you decide to step into that era of the Queen of Wands, who has boundaries, who's stepping into feminine leadership, who's stepping into feminine authority, okay? This is where the magic is going to happen because um the expansion, not only are you going to feel the expansion, but if those women are aligned with you, they're going to expand too. Because sometimes women just don't know. Okay? Sometimes we just have shadows and we're carrying things around that we're not aware of, and it's causing us to behave in certain ways that we're not aware of, and you have to give people that grace, okay? And once you put those boundaries down, the way that a woman responds to those boundaries, that's going to tell you everything, okay? So I realize now that it's not about pushing women away. It's not about pushing people away when it comes to boundaries and standing in my light, but it's about owning my space, the space that I take up and the respect that I have for myself now. Because if you don't stand up for yourself, if you can't advocate for yourself, you can't advocate for nobody. You can't advocate for people in your business, people who work for you or work with you. You can't advocate for your children, you can't advocate for your family, you can't advocate for nobody if you haven't mastered advocating for yourself and standing up for yourself in a healthy way. I'm not talking about running people over and cutting people off every second of the minute when you feel attacked, okay, or you feel like, something is off. I'm saying holding your authority in a way that is graceful but not harsh, okay? And I also want to just highlight how um Dee Dee, my longtime subscriber, day one subscriber since I first started this channel, how she is a beautiful example of feminine respect and leadership dynamics, right? Because she was commenting a comment that was very authoritative and kind of shifting the spotlight away a little bit from the live and shining it onto the things that she's done and the things that she's accomplished, which is beautiful. And um, I welcome that. However, that's that kind of energy, right? Stepping into an authority space in a channel that I've designed for my teaching. It's not that I don't welcome it, but it's just that there's boundaries around that, right? And if I was to welcome another feminine leader or another feminine authority figure onto my space, which I would absolutely, contemplate on doing that for women like Dee Dee, is there has to be boundaries for that, right? Like there has to be a gateway for that. So that way, everybody who comes on my channel isn't reading her comment and is like, oh, I can do the same thing. Okay. Oh, I can do the same thing. Even though, because Dee Dee she's been in my master classes, she's bought my book, she's read my book, she's doing her own coaching and her YouTube. So Like, absolutely. With that kind of commitment, I'm like, "That's beautiful," and I love that, and I would 100% be open to opening that feminine leadership space, even on this channel, because this channel was designed to be for feminine community, okay? The thing is, right, there's boundaries around that. So even though I'm not shunning her and saying, "You can't shine your light here. You can't say anything here," but it's just a reminder that this space is a space for my feminine teachings, my leadership, and the leadership of whatever's going on in the video. And for anything more, right? For any other leadership, my permission, right? You would need my permission for that just because it's out of respect. And that is holding my space. That is something to where when other women see that, when other women read that, when other women come into my space that I'm creating, they're going to trust me and they're going to be like, "Oh, she knows how to create a sacred space. She knows how to honor her boundaries. She knows how to honor other women in her boundaries," right? And connection deepens, respect between woman to woman deepens. Okay? I can even tie this back to my mom. Like, I recently had to set some boundaries with my mom. I love you, mama. If you are watching this video, I love you so much. You're my everything. And um, there's been a lot that my mom has done and sacrificed for me. So I will never intentionally speak down on her on this channel. I have shared about my experiences growing up with my mom and everything like that. However, I will never talk down on her basically. However, I am going to be transparent and say that I've had to set boundaries with her as well. And that has actually been improving our relationship, okay? It's improving our relationship. It's bringing more love and more closeness. And it's also helping her to see me as the grown woman that I am, the sovereign entity that I am, that is not just connected to her, but my own energy that can grow and shine and blossom without her being right there all of the time. So, this is the Queen of Wands archetype, okay? And she's magnetic, she's radiant, she's unapologetically in her light. And women women can be triggered in this energy if they haven't owned this in themselves. They can be triggered in that energy when you own it. But you must own it. It is not an option for you to not own it, because this is the pathway to all of the things you want to magnetize, especially when it comes to money and finances. Your light must shine. Okay, especially in feminine business. Okay, this is the third avenue that I'm going to be teaching the women who enroll into Safe to Receive. So I updated Safe to Receive, which is my 10K windfall activation program for women who are ready to align with windfalls of wealth. There are three main pathways that I'm going to be teaching women how to activate wealth coming into their life. Okay, the first pathway is magical money. Magical money is the money that is going to come in through the universe. Okay, unexpected money. This is how my $10,000 sweepstakes win came in. This is how I manifest things unexpected all the time when it comes to money, right? How I, you know, go to sleep and wake up and there's a check in the mail. How um I just know that I'm going to have this thing by this date and it happens, or this amount of money by this date and it happens. Okay, magical money is the first avenue of feminine wealth that I'm going to be teaching you how to activate your 10K windfall. Okay, The second avenue is masculine money. This is where money and provision is going to come through masculine energy, the men in your life, the male friends in your life, the men who are interested in you. Maybe if you're in a relationship, the man you're in a relationship with, your husband, whatever. Okay. This is the second portal for feminine wealth that I'm going to be aligning women who enter into this program, Safe to Receive, with their 10K windfall. And so the third avenue, okay, the Queen of Wands energy applies to both of these avenues in different ways. But the third avenue I feel like it applies the most is because um and so I'm gonna just go ahead and say what the third avenue is feminine business, right? You showing up as an entrepreneur, you showing up as the woman who is receiving and magnetizing the bag, okay? This has a lot to do with your Queen of Wands energy. Why? Because you need to be seen. You need to be seen in big ways um in order for the people who want to pay you to show up. Okay, you need to be seen in your most authentic light and your most powerful light in order for the people in order for the money that people want to give you, right? For them to click in their head and be like, "Oh yeah, I want to give her my money. Oh yeah, I want to pay her. Oh yeah, where can I sign up? Oh yeah, like I already know I'm sold. I already know I'm sold. Like I'm good. I know that I want to work with her. I don't like just give me the link. Like just give me the link. I'm ready." Okay? You that is going to be really easy to activate when your Queen of Wands energy is full and fiery and shining brightly. It can't happen if you are allowing women to undermine you, and also if you are allowing men to undermine you in your relationships, because men can dig at your confidence too, right? Especially the wrong men. Men can dig at your confidence. Men can cheat on you. Men can lie to you. Men can ghost you, right? Men can do all these different things that will, over time, dig at our self esteem and our confidence if we allow it to. So I also got to a point where I was like, I can no longer accept anything, any kind of uh peasant treatment or um basically, yeah, peasantry, dusty, um less than treatment from men, because this how can I show up and receive thousands of dollars in my business and then behind the scenes be get treated in a poor way, right? To me, that's not being truly rich. To me, that's not being holistically rich, which is feminine wealth, right? That's not holistic wealth to me. That's not feminine wealth to me. Though there are a lot of women who that is the case for them. Okay, they might make a lot of money. Okay, but then behind the scenes, their man is dragging them and dogging them out, most likely because, especially if she makes a lot of money, because she is using that money to make her feel, basically to s- appease her ego, right? So like women can get into this situation too where money is like your ego. You think that you are like your attractiveness comes from your independence and comes from you being able to do everything on your own. And so this is where women also start to um do things for men, provide for men, pay on the dates, pay for this, pay for that, right? Because they're like, well, I can do it too, right? And um not only can I can do it, but I'm better than the next woman because she's broke and she can't do this and she can't do that. Meanwhile, that's the woman that he's, cheating on her with or whatever the case. Okay? Um Alice Cat says, "I'm shocked that this only has 4 viewers right now. You need way more. You're throwing gems." I am not concerned with how many viewers I have. I don't care. If nobody was in this room right now, I would still be going off, okay? Um, of course, I value all of my viewers and I value the views that I do get, and I always appreciate getting lots of views. Um, but over time, I've been doing YouTube for over 10 years. I've been on this channel for 2 years, pushing 3 years, but 2 years exactly. Um, and what I've learned is that lots of views doesn't mean lots of conversions. Lots of views doesn't mean lots of engagement. Lots of views doesn't mean like and that anybody that's watching actually cares or you know resonates, right? What's important to me is that the women that are meant to get this message hear this message and receive what I have to say. If I was doing this for views, I probably wouldn't be doing this right now because I mean, I get a lot of views and sometimes I don't. But I can't base me showing up, on whether or not somebody's watching me. And I think that also aligns with that Queen of Wands energy in the avenue of feminine wealth in your business. Okay? You can't only show up when just because people are watching you. You have to show up because this is who you are. And this is your light. This is your passion. This is your fire. This is your flame. This is what you were literally born to do. That's how it has to feel. This is if nobody else did it, it wouldn't get done type of thing. That's what your light should be shining for, not because you have 100, 1,000 people in the room watching you, you know. Though it's beautiful to experience lots of attention and lots of admiration and all of those things, if I can't speak to 2 people in my room confidently and passionately knowing that this is enough to receive what I'm intending to receive and to also make the transformation I want to make in the world. If I can't do it with 2 people in a room, I don't deserve to do it with 200 or 2,000. Like I don't deserve it. Okay? That's Queen of Wands. That's Queen of Wands. Um but I'm so happy that you are putting that out there for this channel to grow and for more women to get the message. The women that are meant for the message to get the message. Um, that's beautiful, Alice. I appreciate you for that. Y'all are saying amen. Facts. All right, let the church say amen. Hallelujah. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not making fun of the church or nothing like that. I used to actually my family, we grew up Southern Baptist, so I grew up in a church for a certain period of time. My grandfather was a pastor, okay? So, I'm not religious now, um, but I do spend I do stand on business. Um Okay, I'm about to get this is good. Okay, I'm about to get into some more really juicy stuff. We're about to talk about how this relates to men. Okay, and your relationships to men and masculine, that second avenue of feminine wealth, of masculine provision. Okay, because this applies there too. So the feminine business part, Queen of Wands energy got to be on lit on fire. If you are if especially if you are wanting to manifest or have people pay you large amounts of money, okay? You can't do large amounts. You're gonna have to do what the lady who I was gonna collaborate with. You're gonna have to keep it small because you ain't in that Queen of Wands yet. which again, there's nothing wrong with low ticket stuff. I have low ticket stuff, $27 stuff. Um, I love doing that as an entry point into my bigger stuff. Um, but yeah, if you want to manifest bigger amounts of sales and enroll women or whatever it is that you do at a higher amount, right? Especially in the coaching, right? If you are watching this and you are in wanting to do the same or similar things that I am doing, then this is the energy that you have to tap into, okay? Because people are going to challenge you. People are going to say, "Oh, why would you charge that much? Why would you charge for information? Why would you charge for teaching? Like, what's so special about what you have to offer?" You got to know who you are and you got to know what you're working with. Um, okay, Alice Cat says, "How do you improve on your Queen of Wands? Or how does someone expand their Queen of Wands?" So, everything that I was highlighting in the beginning in part 1 and in the beginning of this video of part 2, you have to recognize where in your life you are being undermined or where you are allowing people to undermine you. Where you are being humbled and where you're allowing people to humble you. I went through like the plethora of different situations for feminine relationships, and feminine relationships are like the most important because it reflects how you see yourself as a woman specifically. So you need to go ahead and just take out a piece of paper. If you have a journal, everybody on this channel who's watching me should just have a journal because I'm a journaling queen. Okay. I'm the journaling queen. I have like 20 journals filled up to the max in my closet over the years. Um, you want to write down these scenarios of when you have experienced situations like this. If you feel like you are not necessarily the woman who has been undermined, but maybe the woman who has been the underminer, or you have felt like threatened or attacked by women when they are just shining their light and being themselves, that's something that you want to write out. You want to work through that. You want to ask yourself the question, how did I feel when this scenario happened? Okay? What can I unpack more about this scenario? You want to just dive deep into those situations and get clarity on who you want to be now, the woman that you want to be now. So for me, in my examples that I used when I went through the situation of women undermining me, and really when I worked through this, it wasn't just one at a time. I went through everything all at once because everything was coming up all at once. Every scenario that was similar to the situation of my college um administration undermining me, trying to get me to basically not finish my senior year out so I wouldn't graduate, like crazy work that was coming from the administration. But you know, I had to learn that some old white women are racist, or sometimes sometimes that parasite, that devil demonic energy, it just be morphing through people, and they're like, oh yeah, we want to block her. But what I had to learn in that was that I'm more powerful than these people, and that's why they're doing this to me, because my light is bright. So I had to take the pain in those situations and realize that that's actually my power, and where I can now direct that is into my light. So my light would be how would I have responded to this situation if I was my most confident self still, even though these people tried to sabotage me graduating from college, even though um recently this year I've had, some white women um that I was basically going to this co-working space, um trying to see if I would want my to set up like an office space there. And this white woman was so disrespectful towards me. She was trying to tell me that I wasn't supervising my child because I had my daughter with me. She was like, "Oh, you left your daughter unsupervised." And I'm like, "Heather, like I did not leave my daughter unsupervised. She was right there." Okay. And, basically trying to tell me about myself and everything like that. Um, I had to ask myself, okay, if I hadn't have received that situation like, oh, I need to listen to her. I'm not doing the right thing. I'm not good enough to like get a space here, or I'm not good enough for this. Like basically, if I internalize that, okay, I know how I responded in me internalizing those experiences in those situations. So the healing of the Queen of Wands happens when I look at and I understand what I would have done instead if I was still confident, if I was still in my fire, if what they did didn't have any effect on me and I was still burning hot. If what they did for me didn't make me cower and stop shining, but instead it made me shine even brighter and show up and go even harder. That's the healing in the Queen of Wands. Their goal is to tear your confidence down and make you second guess yourself. Exactly. Exactly. And the healing in the Queen of Wands is you are no longer second guessing you know who you are. You know what you're worth. You know what you're coming for, and you know that it's yours. Point blank period. You know that it's yours, and if anybody is coming to you trying to make you feel like you are wrong morally, you didn't do something right practically, so, the feeling. You know the feeling between somebody who genuinely wants to give you like some kind of constructive criticism and help you in life versus somebody who is projecting their shit onto you, and they can't stomach you being beautiful, being successful, being loved. Okay, they can't stomach it. There's something must, they have to nitpick and find something that's wrong with you and then pull you down from there. That's the healing in the Queen of Wands. So figure out all those situations in your life, and then after you do that, there's going to be a shift that happens because now you're going to be aware of whatever pattern that you have specifically in this energy or the dynamic. Okay, now you're going to transmute that by when these scenarios happen again, you can sense it and you can pinpoint it in the moment and then choose to act differently than what you normally would act like. Like the example of my subscriber, right? Of when she made a comment that was super authoritative, and you know, that was my opportunity, right? Because I sensed it in the moment that this scenario or this energy dynamic is coming up again. I need to own my I need to own my space. I need to respect myself instead of cowering, instead of ignoring it, instead of being like, "Oh, well, I guess I could just let her, do her thing and it's not a big deal." Like, no, we're not doing that anymore. And it's all love, right? It's all love. It has more to do with me than it has to do with them. And once you start embodying that, then the people around you, the women around you, especially in your business and as an entrepreneur, they can start to rise with you and be inspired by that. So, the standing in your Queen of Wands energy is essential if you want clients to pay you, men to provide for you, the universe to give to you. Confidence is the bridge, and if you're not confident in your value, others won't feel safe giving to you. Okay, I was highlighting this, all right? You want people to feel safe with you. So, in that third avenue of income, feminine wealth and business, this is where this is important at, okay? Um so money and confidence, okay? Let's get into that. Let's get into that, and then we're going to get into the masculine provision and why Queen of Wands energy is so important and how that can come up with men as well. I'm going to drink some of my pineapple juice. Okay. Okay, so your connection between confidence and receiving wealth is really important, and men, clients, and the universe all respond to a woman's inner authority. So feminine receiving isn't begging or proving, it's holding steady in your worth. So, in my experience, when I stopped being outcome focused, okay? What is outcome focused? Outcome focused. Okay, especially in my business. When I show up in my business as outcome focused, this means I'm hyper focused on like what you brought up, Alice, of is anybody going to show up, right? Is anybody going to show up to watch me in the live? Is anybody going to show up to listen? If I'm hyper focused on the outcome of people watching me or me getting sales or enrollments or me making money, I have now stepped out of the enjoyment process that the Queen of Wands is all about. This is about passion. This is about being in the fire of and the excitement of what you're doing, what you're offering, what you're sharing, which is your light, which is your shine, which is your glow. If I was hyper focused on that on the outcome, okay, that ends up creating I mean, it has ended up creating, like, I wouldn't say a serious block, but it always makes me not really enjoy what I'm doing. When I'm super outcome focused, when I care so much about the amount of people that are in the room or the amount of sales that I get or whatever like that, right? It can make me be like, "Oh, like, I'm not enjoying this anymore." But the Queen of Wands is moving and shining, knowing that it's done already. Knowing that the transformation and the light that you shine is enough, and that's going to manifest the thing. Okay? I can remember several times where, like, I had completely forgotten or, like, just completely just stopped thinking about sales, stopped thinking about, enrollment, stopped thinking about, "Oh, what this is gonna happen in my business, that," and I'm just enjoying myself. It could be in me actually being on live, or it could be me just enjoying myself in my actual life, okay? And then boom, I get some sales come in. Boom, one of my videos starts going viral or getting a lot of views, and I'm getting more engagement. So, that is how you want to step into the flow and be in the flow as it relates to feminine business. Let's talk about the masculine receiving part. Okay. And receiving wealth and money from the masculine in a healthy Queen of Wands energy. I want you to always remember you are never asking a man for permission for anything. All right. You are not asking him for permission. Especially, I think this is also why there's a lot of hesitation in women asking for things in general. When you, in the beginning, okay, just out of respect, you do want to just kind of like ask in the beginning. Okay. But once it gets to a certain point in your connection or your relationship with the man, you should not be asking anymore. Okay. You should not be asking for money. You should not be asking if you can buy something. You should not be asking. No, you should just be spending the money if you have access to the money, right? Like if you have access to his card, he gave you, access to his card and you need something, you want to buy something, you need to spend that money like it's yours, okay? Spend the money like it's yours. And based off of how he responds, that lets you know if you even want to keep him around or not. Okay? Because a man wants and should always want to make sure that you're okay and that you're good. Okay? So when you run his card and you need to get things that you want to get or whatever it is that you want, um, and he responds to you like, why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you ask me if you could buy something or whatever like that? You can't buy anything. You need to ask me first. Oh hell no. He wants you to be small. He wants you to shrink. He wants you to shrink in your queendom, okay? In your queendom over finances, your feminine finances, okay? Because his money is your money. And your money is your money. So, if you need something, you should just be spending what he has available, right? Especially if he gives you access to his stuff, okay? Um it gets to a certain point where you should not be asking a man to give you money. Like your child, like you need handouts, you know what I'm saying? Um it gets to a point where especially okay, so there's kind of markers to letting you know like the level of entitlement that you are qualified to have over a man's money, okay? If he is talking about intimacy with you, if he's talking about having a family with you, if he's talking about marriage with you, if he's bringing you around his family, right? Like if he's like doing all of these things with you, that is a marker, okay, that he wants you to also spend his money. That's what that means. That's what that means. If he is talking to you about having kids, I want you to have my baby. I want you to, be my girl. Okay, that means you also want me to spend your money. Spend your money. That's what that means. That's what that means. The issue comes in with women with this Queen of Wands energy is the insecurity around that and feeling like you need permission from a man and you come off as apologetic for the things that you need or want. You come off as apologetic for um needing money or finances. You don't want to come off as apologetic or um like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry that I spent this, or I can use an example. um Say you do have access to his card or you do have access to money or whatever like that, and you spend some things, you spend money on some things that you need, or whatever like that, and he asks you, you know, "Are you spending money on my card?" or whatever like that, you should respond confidently. Like, really good response would be, "Yes, I did. I wanted to get this, or I needed to get this," or whatever like that. And then you can maybe add something flirty at the end, like, I know that you love spoiling me," or, "I can't wait till we see each other again. I'm so glad that I was able to get what I needed. I can't wait till we see each other." Like, you should be confident about your ability to spend what he has to give you. And the only way that he should be responding to that in a green flag or healthy way is, "Oh, well, I'm glad you could get what you needed. Like, do you need anything else?" Or, um, "Well, do you want me to, like, give you a certain amount that you can have every month so that way you don't have to, like," like, he should see that as an opportunity to continue providing for you and making you feel safe. Um, if you like, I actually think about a Drake verse in one of his songs, um, where he says, um, I don't know what song it is, but there's a verse in one of the Drake songs where he's like, "Yeah, she's spending my money like it's hers." Like we go to the mall, she's shopping like it's her card. And I'm like, that's exactly what masculine men like. They like women who own the fact that his money is my money, right? Like, they don't want to feel like you're like, "Oh, like, not sure." I mean, yeah, maybe some timidity could be cute, really cute um, in the beginning, right? And you could kind of even subtly use that as like a seduction thing, a seduction tactic, like, oh, like timidity. Um, but largely, men want to feel like you are running the show. Healthy men, healthy masculine men, they want you to feel confident in the money that they give you and the money they provide for you. Okay. So the insecurity and the like, "I'm not sure if I can buy this," or, "I'm not sure if I can ask for this," or, "I'm not sure that I can have this." Um, right. And a very insecure response, or I would say not very insecure, but a response to a man being like, "Oh, did you spend money on my card, or did you spend money," or whatever like that. If you were to respond in a way that wasn't Queen of Wands activated, that wasn't like owning your sexiness, your desirability, and your magnetism, you would probably say, "Oh, are you upset? I'm so sorry. I didn't like I really, really needed to get something. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be okay with you." Like, you are at this point, now you sounded like he's your master. That's what it sounds like now. It sounds like he's your master now. Okay. And honestly, for some men, they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm her master then. I guess I could just be like, telling her what to do and, controlling the amount of money that I give her and like play those types of games just by how you react and respond to the money that he supplies you with or the money that he gives you that to spend, okay? Or if you want something and you spend his money without permission, okay? You want to be spending a man's money like it's yours. It's your money, any kind of money, okay? You can always appreciate the way or when he spends money on things for you. I wouldn't, and this is also a thing, I wouldn't over exhaust the word thank you when it comes to what men are providing you in the masculine provision area, okay? I would not exhaust what a man provides, the word thank you when he's providing things for you, because that also can start to kind of sound like you like don't feel entitled to it. Because there is a level of entitlement to a man's money that men enjoy. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that, but they like it. Okay. Um when he does when he does provide for you, and when he does give you money, and when he does do, things financially for you, you want to show your appreciation through um your embodiment, okay? And this is something that I dive way, way deeper into inside of Deeply Loved. Okay, this is my course, my 3-day to 3-week immersion on getting into alignment with your dream lover, with your dream love life. This is actually a really amazing combination course to enroll into along with Safe to Receive. I kind of realized that from my last live video. Um when I was talking about provision and transactional energy and feminine receiving, and how feminine receiving is a never transactional. Safe to Receive and Deeply Loved is the perfect combination, because Deeply Loved helps you to understand how to truly embody your femininity in a way that must, like, a man will just absolutely fall in love with you. I mean, the man that's meant for you, right? So you attract him. I'm teaching you how to attract the man that's meant for you. And then I'm teaching you in the first immersion, which is day 1. And then I'm teaching you how to deepen and cultivate that deep love in a union with a man. And that is where you I just dive way deeper into appreciation, how what kind of appreciation men really want to receive from you. It's not just thank you, thank you, or like words, appreciation with words, but the types of embodied appreciation that makes him literally fall in love with you and all of the things. So I don't think I ever at any point really like um I've been talking about Safe to Receive in my programs and stuff, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let y'all know. Number one, I updated um the early bird enrollment for Safe to Receive to October 21st. Okay. Um, the full moon just kind of felt like too soon. This upcoming full moon, it felt too soon. And the beginning of Scorpio season is like the money energy gets activated during that time times 1000. Okay. That is when money season begins, is the beginning of Scorpio season, in my opinion. So if you are wanting to activate your windfall, it can be a 10K windfall. You can aim for more than that. Because I have specifically manifested $10,000 in windfalls of money through all 3 avenues, in my business, in masculine provision, and in magical money, then that's the number I'm specifically working with. And that is the goal that I have for the women who are enrolling into Safe to Receive before I get started with the live modules, which is the magical money, masculine provision, and feminine business. So the link is pinned to enroll. The pay in full link to enroll is pinned in the comments, and it is down below in the description box. If you want to sign up via a payment plan, you can click the deposit link. The deposit is $111 for you to secure your bonuses and to secure your spot before you're ready to make your first payment on the payment plan, and get you secured into the program before we get started on October 21st. So for either of those options, if you want to get started with those, the links are in the description. The link is also pinned in the comments. And if you want to add on Deeply Loved to the money activations that we are doing starting at the beginning of Scorpio season, you can, I believe, add on Deeply Loved. Um, the payment link should also be in the description for Deeply Loved, but if you click on Safe to Receive, I believe Deeply Loved should be listed at the bottom as an add-on. That way you can be activating your love experience, your dream love experience, while also activating windfalls of money, feminine wealth, really transforming your reality around feminine wealth and allowing lots of money to just become normal for you. Big amounts of money to become normal for you. And give up on whatever avenues of money that you think that you need to be doing, like hustling, um working jobs that you know you don't want to work, that aren't aligned, doing things that you know that you don't want to be doing, um draining yourself, in your relationships with men because they're not providing for you, all of those things. If you're ready to just be done with that and let that go and step into your aligned way to receive feminine wealth, Safe to Receive is open and enrolling right now. So, let's see, what else do I need to touch on before I hop off of here? Okay. So I guess now would be a great time for questions if anybody has any other questions. We had Alice had one question earlier. If anybody has any other questions, now's a great time. Um, so when you lead yourself with confidence and boundaries, you magnetize both women's respect and men's generosity. Let me say that again. When you lead yourself with confidence and boundaries, you magnetize both women's respect and men's generosity. Okay? Nobody's going to pay you in your business. Okay? Women aren't going to hand you their money if you are not leading yourself with confidence and holding those energetic boundaries. It's just, it won't feel right, right? When you hold these same energetic standards with men, when you are in your magnetic feminine energy and you know that you're the woman who has the money, makes the money, you are the money, right? When you know that you are the money, men will just feel entitled to being like they have to be generous with you. There's no other option. They must be generous with you. They must get their money up to be around you because they know that you are money. They know that you're rich. They know that you're wealthy. This is why men who don't have any money and they're around women with Queen of Wands energy, they like questioning themselves. They like, I gotta go get a bag. Like, I gotta go have something to offer this woman. I have to come with offerings when you're in your Queen of Wands energy. When you're not, they don't feel that need. They don't feel like it's necessary. Um, it's just not a thing, right? Closing an invitation. Summarize. Okay. So, all right. So I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. I literally covered everything and I did that thing. I did that thing. Okay. And I did it before it got too late. We had some glitches. Okay. We had some glitches in the beginning. That's why there's a part one and a part two. So if you didn't watch part one, you're watching this in the future, make sure you watch part one. Because that was like the beginning of this entire thing. Um, but yeah, I think that's everything, y'all. So if you made it to the end of this video, oh, Khadijah says thanks. You're welcome, Khadijah. And thank you so much to those of you, Khadijah and Alice, who were engaging and talking in the chat. I love you and I appreciate you so much for that. Um, and being a part of it, it does make it a lot easier for me to just kind of run and go when I have the engagement in the chat. So I appreciate you all so much for that. If you made it to the end of this video, you're watching the replay. Um, let's see. What can we put in the chats? Let's put some fire in the chat. Let's put some fire emojis in the chat. Um, let's light up the chat with some fire emojis because the Queen of Wands is the Queen of Fire. She is the Queen of Fire. And I've done a couple videos talking about the elemental feminine. And I'm honestly, this could be like the beginning of understanding the Queen of Fire because um the Queen of Fire doesn't play any games. Yeah, I believe that was the video on my channel where this it's called The Secret Powers of Feminine Energy or something like that. So if you want to watch that video just so you can know a little bit more about the elemental feminine, the fire feminine relates 1000% to the Queen of Wands and every other element too, to all the other queens in the tarot deck. The tarot deck is way deeper than what people understand it to be. It is ancient wisdom that comes from the ancient Canaanite people um in the Americas. Yeah, it really goes deep. The knowledge on it goes deep. But basically, the Queen of Fire is what we delved into today. And if you want to learn more about the elemental feminine, go watch that video, The Secret Power of Being a Woman. Um and in the thumbnail there's like four different elemental feminine energies with me on the cover. And yeah, I believe that's everything. All right, Khadijah put the fires in the chat. Yeah, light up the chat, y'all, with fires. Um, Also, actually, I have another announcement, but I'll go ahead and make sure I announce that at the beginning of my next live video. It has to do with my memberships. So I just opened up the door to my memberships. The Creatrix Collective was on my school. It was on school at first. I decided to keep everything on YouTube just so I'm not all over the place. The Creatrix Collective is now on YouTube. It is my first tiered membership. And what's going to be offered in the first tier, this is essentially for women who want to um, be acknowledged within this space. Women who want my priority comments, my priority attention. Um, I'm still kind of gathering exactly what I want to put inside the collective, but I do know. Give me a second, y'all. I do know in the third, not the third, in the second tier, which is the Creatrix Unleashed, this tier is going to be the tier where I'm going to be opening up uh it like open the door into the four areas of feminine creation, okay? This is where the creatrix is literally unleashed, okay? So when it comes to health, when it comes to love, when it comes to mind, which I always consider mind being the money, okay? Mind over matter. So we're going to be dealing with health, love, money, and spirituality. This is where I'm going to be sharing with you with y'all my rituals, all of my rituals. Um if you want to be a part of any live rituals I do, they're going to be inside of the Creatrix Unleashed. If you want to um get access to affirmations, meditations, and rituals around all four areas, right? Of health, love, um, money, and spirituality. Spirituality is really where I'm going to be teaching the magic, right? How to really do magic and live your life in a magical way. This is what the members of the Creatrix Unleashed is going to receive. And for the women who are a part of the Creatrix Unleashed, by invite only, I'm going to be inviting and creating something called Creatrix Mentors. So this is where I really want to allow women who have been, so this is why it's invite only, because this is for the women who have been committed and like very much so on that journey of cultivating themselves as a feminine leader. This is where you get the opportunity to collaborate with me and come on to my channel. You can even host your own videos or host your own lives. This is like a tester thing that I want to start out, but I want to make this channel much more collaborative and um engaged and like feel like a community versus more of like just me. I love it being just me, but the comment that I got um for my previous video that I told y'all I had to set boundaries with and everything, it made me think like, how can I offer the space in a way that honors and respects me and my boundaries to women who could actually add a lot of value to the channel? Okay, and also receive a lot of value in return. Okay. Um so those are the things that I have to announce. I'll talk a lot more about it later, but um all in all, I appreciate you all for showing up, and I will see you all in my next video. Peace.